welcome to Locker Talk, episode 37. The show everything WWE, past, present, and future. I am Burt Macklin, FBI. This is the main event, Matt. This is episode 37 of WWE Locker Talk. What kind of a show do we have this week, main event? We have a fantastic show. Fantastic. This is our state of the WWE address. We're going to talk everything going on in WWE right now. We were planning on doing this show a couple hours ago, but we're sitting here in Casa de la Main Event, or however you speak Spanish, I don't know. And we had a bit of a trouble with a food situation.
Yes.
This is your place, so why don't you let everyone know how bad it was?
We put some chili in the slow cooker to be done in about 7 hours or so. And when I kept checking it, there was a horrible smell radiating from the chili itself.
And so what did you decide to put in it to make it better?
What did I put?
You put cream cheese in it, Matt.
I put cream cheese in it.
You put cream cheese in it.
I put cream cheese in it. It seemed like a really good idea at the time. But, so that only made the smell worse, and it turned the chili white and very liquidy. So we had to take a trip to Walmart to pick up a number of items. And we had a number of inputs, so we would like to take this time to thank the wise people of the Walmart, at our local Walmart, for giving us their wisdom on making chili and on living a prosperous life. So thank you to those people. Yes, thank you. We finally got the chili on track.
Hopefully.
I put a lot of seasonings in it. And
a lot of pepper.
We'll see what it turns out in about 3 hours.
Yeah, so just be thankful that you guys don't have to eat it. Maybe. Unless it's amazing, then maybe we'll have to share this recipe with everyone. But either way, this leads us to believe. So why don't we need everyone to send in your favorite chili recipe. Send them in to us at WWE Locker Talk on Twitter, or leave a comment right down below in the comment section. While you're there, if you haven't done so already, like the video, subscribe, that little button to subscribe. We lost a subscriber this week.
We did?
And I don't know who they are, but they're dead to me now.
It's probably Andy.
Probably. That jerk.
Spite.
Damn Brits. Anywho, so we're getting off topic a little bit here, but we're going to reel it back in and to talk about the thing that we love to talk about and the reason why you're here listening to us, and that is the WWE. And so you're also here, and so thankfully you've all been submitting your questions to us, which we haven't done in a while. This is kind of our old school. Mm-hmm. We're just kind of talking about WWE in general. We're not reacting to anything specifically. And so our first question comes from Daily Matt Byrne, who is, as you know, farmer. So go ahead and give that Twitter a follow, at Daily Matt Byrne. And his question is, who should induct Sting into the Hall of Fame? Is there any chance that it is Zeb Coulter?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good question. Sting, as we obviously found out, is the first person going into the WWE Hall of Fame 2016. If you didn't know, we did a great video. It was like our third video ever of who we think needs to go into the Hall of Fame. You should definitely go back and give that a watch. I'm sure we're going to be doing another one in a
second anniversary.
Yeah, a few times. We're getting to anniversary episodes. Yeah. We've been on this for a long time, and we still don't have anyone watching the show. That's impressive. So yeah, Matt, who should induct Sting into the Hall of Fame?
I personally think it should be The Undertaker. However, I think Undertaker should remain in character the entire time he's inducting him. I think the gong should hit. He should come out, all the dry ice around him in the fog.
That'd be cool.
Come out, give the little inductee speech, because they haven't had an interaction, but they're the same kind of concept and characters. And Sting should come out with face paint on, with a suit on, and he should accept it. I think that would make a cool little story there.
You've got some cool coasters, Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the obvious choice would be probably Ric Flair. They have a pretty big, long-standing rivalry going back to the days of WCW. And so that would make sense. I can see Zeb Coulter as well. I don't know if they would do that. I feel like a high-profile inductee like Sting requires a high-profile inductor. Is that the right language? I believe it is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think Ric Flair is likely. I wouldn't mind Zeb. I like listening to Zeb. He'll probably throw some racist rant in there, which is probably not the best thing.
Sting is white though.
Yeah, but that's either way. You shouldn't do that. It's not okay, Vince McMahon. Anyway, so our next question from @DailyMattBurn, make sure you follow him on Twitter, is: if you had to get one tattoo that a wrestler has, what tattoo would you choose?
Is this former or current or all?
I just say all.
All.
Yeah, all. What have you thought of any?
I'd probably do the Cobra Commander from CM Punk.
Okay. Yeah, I would just say I'd say a CM Punk tattoo just so I can be vague and not answer the question.
The Pepsi tattoo, baby.
Yeah, that's good. I always when I was growing up, I always wanted to get like a press-on tattoo of Goldberg's tattoo. Mm-hmm. I always really liked his. The Rock's tattoo is another famous one. Husky Harris's wings on the back of on his back. Old Husky Harris. Wonder whatever happened to him.
I don't know.
He looks vaguely familiar. He looks kind of like Bo Dallas, to be honest.
He was a fantastic wrestler.
He was.
He could move.
He was. He's that train barreling through and...
He has a damn family.
Lord have mercy. Anyway, so thank you to @DailyMattBurn for submitting your questions. That was nice of you. We had to dig through many questions that were submitted to find any that were of any quality whatsoever. And so, either way. So, this next one is a fun question. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this one. This next one comes from @TedIsLegend. And his first question, and how much money would be acceptable for you or anyone? I'm just going to say for us, because we can only speak for us. Would it be for us to be on the receiving end of a Brock Lesnar suplex? I've thought about this. I would do it for free if I had learned how to take a bump first. Like, I would have to be up to know how to take a bump first. There's no chance in hell that I would do it because I would die. I would do it for that and a hug from Bayley, and I think I would call it square. I think that would really all it take for me because I'd be more in it for the Bayley hugs. That's just me. I don't know. What about you? Would you?
I would need a 10-day, $10,000 contract from WWE.
Like on TV, like an on-air personality contract? Or not, or just give you $10,000.
I would just want the contract
so
I can frame it, and then the $10,000.
That's probably smart.
I'd want to run out on Raw to kind of hit him in the back.
And then have him kill you.
He would suplex me then.
Yeah.
I'd probably take a suplex through the announce table at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely want like somebody obviously taking pictures and like a shirt that says "I got suplexed by." I think they have that shirt on WWE.com.
I got speared. I got suplexed.
I got rack attacked by Nikki, and that is not appropriate at all.
I think Andy needs that shirt.
Somehow, I don't think that all the parties would be okay with that. But yeah. So thank you, Ted, for that question. You have one more from our good friend @TedIsLegend. Make sure you follow him on Twitter.
He is a legend.
He is quite enjoyable. He has a great thoughts on wrestling. A nice, fun, sarcastic person. He has met. Wow. Speaking of AJ Styles, wow, that's a great segue. His next question is: how do you feel about WWE signing my friends? Oh, they're friends.
My friends.
Some people have everything. From New Japan / Ring of Honor.
Bullet Club.
I assume that means the Bullet Club. And I've taken a different kind of approach to this that a lot of people have. And I just want to make it known that to everyone, first off, that there has been no official signings of any of these people. And to be reporting that there is folly, in my mind, to use a fancy term there. Yeah, it looks pretty darn obvious that they're going to sign, what with WWE becoming a tabloid site, Finn Balor peeing his pants and freaking out over Bullet Club and Balor Club potential stuff. Personally, I think obviously the big one here is AJ Styles. He's the big kahuna. He's one of the best indie wrestlers ever. Well, that said, you guys might know this. I don't like AJ Styles, so for me, I could give a rat's ass if he comes to WWE or not. I understand that he's a great wrestler, but I've never been a fan of his. You know, in the old days when I would watch TNA, you know, other than the original WWE guys, Samoa Joe was really the only guy I really gravitated to. I just never cared for for AJ Styles. Nakamura, I don't know. I'm not. We're from a small town. We don't really pronounce other people's names good. Apparently, he's a really great star. And so, to me, I mean, there's really no downside. He could be a great addition to the WWE. I don't know how well they would push him in. I don't know how well he speaks English. Probably better than I've been so far in this show.
They don't really push Japanese wrestlers that well.
Yeah, I mean, Hideo Itami, he's learning to speak English a lot better, but he's obviously been injured for a while. But, yeah, I'm not sure. Luke Gallows or Doc Gallows, whatever he's being referred to. With him, was what I don't understand is if he did not work out in WWE the first time, I have no reason to believe that he will work out this time.
With 3 different gimmicks.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the whole Bullet Balor Club thing is a much better gimmick for him, and I'm sure he's improved a lot as a wrestler. But in the WWE, he's proven nothing to me, really, whatsoever. Festus was terrible. Luke Gallows was okay because he was under the direction of CM Punk.
Fake Kane was good.
Oh, yeah, he was Fake Kane, wasn't he? Yeah, that's good. But, yeah, they'll obviously add to what is an extremely... It's getting really dark. The sun went down. And we're still wearing sunglasses. Yeah, you might want to do that. But yeah, really. Okay, I'll still talking. But really, to me, they will help the injury. Oh, they will help an injury-prone WWE, which we will get to later. But I don't know. I'm not completely sold. I'm sure they're going to be great, but to me, I'm not sold on these guys yet. I mean, it probably won't take much, but we'll see. You got any? I talked for a long time on that. I just wanted to get that off my chest. It kind of bugs me when people are like, "Oh my gosh, they've signed," and all this stuff. When in fact, Nakamura is signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling through the end of the month. In which case, he can't even start talking to WWE before that time comes. So it kind of irks me a little bit. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm a big fan of AJ Styles. I didn't really like him on TNA that much. But I recognize that he's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
And the rivalries he can do with Ambrose, with Rollins, with Owens, with Joe, the chemistry he would have with Samoa Joe would be awesome.
A lot of possibilities.
Yeah. I believe he would stay in NXT for a while. And I know Farmer said if Owens could go up in 6 months, why can't AJ Styles? Well, Samoa Joe has been there
He's been there a while.
Quite some time now, since the probably beginning of summer.
Yeah, it was at TakeOver in May, I believe. It's when Owens was beating up Sami Zayn. And so it would have been, I believe, in May when Zayn got injured. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I believe they would probably, all those guys, the Bullet Club, would be in NXT for a while, which would help NXT because they have limited star power right now with all the call-ups happening. So I believe it would benefit everybody, the fans, NXT, and in the long run, the main roster.
Yeah. And that, my friends, leads us into our next question from our good friends across that big pond at RTM Wrestling. Make sure you check them out. They have a great YouTube show on YouTube.
And SoundCloud.
And SoundCloud.
When it's ready.
We're not really sure if anyone actually watches that. So, Andy, if you're listening now, which I assume you will be at some point, do people actually listen to SoundCloud? Is that a viable option that we should consider getting into? Either way, so they have put, in accordance with the whole New Japan Pro Wrestling deal, with WWE having a lot more factions than normal, could the Balor Club be heading to the main roster? What do you think?
Well,
I'll let you take this one first, because I'm a nice guy like that.
First off, if they did, there's no chance in hell that they're going to... They might take on the Social Outcasts, but there's no way they're beating the Social Outcasts. No. They are the number one faction in the world. Cheap pop there. Balor Club coming... Bullet, Balor, whatever. Coming over. If they did, I do not believe they will keep them together. I believe it'll all be singles going out there. Split them up. Because WWE will sign people from outside, but they're not going to keep people together or put them together just because they come from a different place. Just like they're probably not going to put Samoa Joe and AJ Styles together. So no.
Well, that's because they've never wrestled together before, Matt. It's never happened.
Well, they've been in the same circuit for 10 years.
Well, have they?
In TNA, they were together for 10 years,
What's
10 plus years.
TNA?
Total Nonstop Action Wrestling.
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
Mm.
Man, because Sting, he was in WCW, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just like he stopped wrestling for like 15 years, didn't he?
Yeah.
Then he joined WWE. That's what happened, right?
Maybe.
Something.
He was head of the Main Event Mafia for a number of years.
Oh, okay, and that was with Luger and Hogan, right?
He who must not be named, yeah.
Voldemort, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I don't think there'll be a faction or a stable coming into WWE.
All right, here's my answer. No. The answer to that question is no. First off, this is another hot button topic for me. Finn Balor does not need to be on the main roster right now. He should not be on the main roster right now. He will not debut at the Royal Rumble. He should not debut at the Royal Rumble. It doesn't make any sense for me right now, and there's many reasons. Like you said, NXT is becoming a ginormous brand. It is exploding right now. They need as much star power as possible in NXT right now as a touring brand. They've already got this month, they're going to be running 2 different shows in the same night, which they've never done before. They need Finn Balor in that role. He's not the youngest guy in the world. I understand that he can't stay in NXT forever. Mm-hmm. But he's not going to go up to the main roster when there's all these other storylines happening. He will just become an afterthought, I feel, if he enters the Royal Rumble. Because you've got the whole thing with Roman Reigns. You've got Brock Lesnar. That's really about it. But still, those are big things. And let's be honest, if Finn Balor enters the Royal Rumble, there ain't no chance in hell he's going to win. He's not going to be the WWE champion and the NXT champion at the same time. And to be honest, in NXT, the only viable option for him, other than Samoa Joe again, would either be Sami Zayn in a face versus face match or Baron Corbin. Mm-hmm. And while I like Baron Corbin, I'm a fan of Baron Corbin, I don't think Baron Corbin's the guy to run NXT right now.
He's not there yet.
He's not there yet. I think he's close. Honestly, I think Corbin might go up to the main roster before Balor. That's where I'm at personally. But I don't know if these guys from New Japan Pro Wrestling are going to be going to the main roster, or if they're going to NXT. Like I said, they haven't even signed yet. Anything could happen where they decide they don't want to join WWE, or just something happens and they never join it. We'd all look like dumbasses for buying into this. But obviously, with that said, WWE has even been hyping this, so I feel pretty certain that we can assume this is going to happen. But I don't want us to jump ahead and make any assumptions. But that's a really good question. I don't think it's time for Balor. I think he needs to come up when there can be more spotlight on him and when NXT isn't so desperate for him to be a champion. Although it's kind of crazy for me to think that NXT is desperate and they have so much talent. They're always coming up with someone else. I don't think it's ever going to be a problem, but that's going to be fine. The next one from our good friends at RTM Wrestling said, do you see Roman getting booed out of the building for the second year if he does the unthinkable? The unthinkable, I would have to assume, would be winning the Royal Rumble match. And I don't think so. I mean, he's obviously gotten a much better reception in the past few weeks. What they did with him at TLC and the Raw after was amazing. It was really, really good. I think they can keep up with that momentum. I mean, Roman Reigns is never going to be the guy who gets cheered for by everyone in the building. He's never going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's never going to be The Rock. But I think people are coming around to him a bit more. So I don't think he's going to get booed. I don't really want to say whether I think he's going to win it all or not, because honestly, I don't know yet. There's a lot of things could still happen, and we're gonna discuss the Rumble a little bit more later. But no, I don't think he's going to get booed. I think he's going to be in Orlando. They're I can't say this straight, but they're not a kind people down there. Yeah. If you've never been to Orlando, Florida, just take a drive down I-4. You can see all the assholes that live in there. It's sorry for my language. I have a lot of bad memories from there, but I'm sorry. Go ahead. I need to stew for a bit.
I don't think he's gonna get booed if he wins. I think there's a good chance he doesn't win. I don't think he would get booed though, because I think it's the Daniel Bryan effect happening now, especially with Vince stepping in instead of Triple H. So Vince is gonna step on him. Vince is gonna push him out. He's gonna, if he does win, he'd have to go through Lesnar. He'd have to go through all these guys. Maybe the Boogeyman. Who knows?
Maybe Michael Cole.
Maybe Michael Cole again.
Could happen.
So I don't think he would get booed out at all. But I do believe they might have The Rock in the back just in case he wins again and he does get booed.
Send him out.
We might have
Read him.
Picture perfect, gets booed, Rock comes out, and then Reigns Lesnar again for WrestleMania.
It could happen. And we have one last question directed at you, the main event. And it is, what does Matt think of Ambrose being in Roman's shadow a bit at the moment? It's a good question.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it because I think Dean Ambrose is his own man. The crowd goes more over for Dean Ambrose than Reigns. Ambrose gets a bigger pop, I would argue. Not every time, but I think if we average it out, he'd average bigger pops than Reigns. He does hold the Intercontinental Championship right now. I get that Reigns holds the World Heavyweight. But there's just, I feel, a bigger market for that mid-card right now. Like, I'm more excited to see the mid-card with Ziggler, Owens, Ambrose, Tyler Breeze, and now Sin Cara. You got, not Sin Cara, Kalisto, my bad. Kalisto, like, you got all these great guys in the mid-card, and in the main event circuit you have Sheamus and Reigns every week.
That's true.
So you have this in the same storylines with Reigns, and he kind of force-fed Reigns, and now the people are just coming over to him. And Dean Ambrose was over immediately, all the time. People loved him. And just because they're kind of like brothers, friends.
I believe they're tagging on SmackDown this week.
Shared the same hotel room for about 2.5 years. If you watched that Grabbing the Brass Ring, Table for Three. Yeah. If you haven't, it's a really good episode. You should probably check that out. So I think, Dean should kind of break away from that. And in part, you would get that one versus all fulfilled. Dean doesn't have to do a heel turn for that.
He never will.
He never will.
It's never going to happen, people. Get over it.
That's one of the biggest rumors that will never come true.
That's true.
You need it one versus all for Reigns, and then Ambrose will fully be out of the shadow. But I agree, he's in the shadow right now.
Yeah, and I noticed how I didn't get asked this question, or even specifically didn't get asked a question, period. But I'm going to go ahead and answer it anyways.
Farmer actually asked me specifically a question too.
Yeah, so thanks guys, appreciate it. I see who you like more. It's definitely not the one who's always there for you, because you're there for me too. Anyways, no, Friends references aside, to me, Ambrose and Owens has been one of the best things WWE has been doing the past few weeks. It was one of my favorite segments of Raw last night. I think it's one of the better feuds they've done in a long time, and that's saying something, because they've made Ambrose look strong, they made Owens look strong, and they're just two guys that just keep going at it, and they keep beating the heck out of each other, and that's really what we want from a wrestling feud. It's been really, really good, and I've enjoyed it a lot. And so, yeah, that's really all I want to say.
These two guys will wrestle with ACL tears.
ACL tears.
They'll go out there with any injury.
Unless, Kevin Nash tears a quad, and it's just, whoo-wee, watch out. But yeah, so that's those are all our questions. Those are some pretty good questions,
they were
guys.
solid.
So we really appreciate that. So make sure you go follow those 3 Twitter accounts, at DailyMattBurn, at TedIsLegend, and of course at RTM Wrestling, which you should all know by now if you've watched our show before.
Those are that's the Click.
That's the Click.
That's our version of the Click.
And we're obviously the Shawn Michaels of the Click.
Shawn Michaels and the Triple H of the Click.
Yeah. Wait, which one am I?
You're always Shawn.
Oh, I feel like I'm always Shawn, but like more realistically, I feel like I'm Triple H. Because Triple H was the guy, he didn't drink, he didn't do any of the partying stuff, and that's more of me. I'm not saying you're like a wild, crazy, abusive, Shawn Michaels, but...
Man, I'm tweaking out, man.
Maybe we should just move on, huh? So...
You should feel honored that we feel like we're a clique, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But just remember, one of you is X-Pac, and so I'll let you figure that one out on your own. And so we touched on this a little bit earlier with the injury bug that's going on in WWE right now. And oh doggy, is it bad. So I've collected a list because thankfully the lovely people of Twitter have compiled many a list on the current injuries of WWE right now. And so I'm going to start off with Sting. He is technically injured, but I honestly don't think with him going to the Hall of Fame, I don't think he's having another match. Excuse me. So sadly, that's not going to happen. But just to run down this list really quick, John Cena, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Paige, Sasha Banks, Daniel Bryan, Tyson Kidd, Cesaro, Nikki Bella, Wade Barrett, Sin Cara, allegedly maybe even Rusev as well. We don't know. There's a lot of people injured. Cena and Rollins, just by themselves, that's your top babyface and the top heel in the company, and they're both out for extended periods of time.
After Cena took 2 months to film a show.
Right? I feel like that kind of...
So he's been out. He's going to be out total for probably about 11 months, including the 2 months.
He was back for a week.
For one match with Del Rio.
With Alberto Del Rio. Oh, boy.
The former U.S. champion. Anybody but you, Albert.
Anybody but you, Alberto. But yeah, so the injury bug is... This might be the worst time.
It's going to be a pain in the ass now.
But honestly, at the same time, I saw somebody post this on Twitter last night watching Raw. It's made people step up. Like I said, Kevin Owens and Ambrose have stepped up their game quite a bit since these injuries. Becky Lynch and Charlotte are having a great rivalry. This is honestly one of the best rivalries for the Divas title I've seen in a very long time.
One of the best rivalries in the company right now.
It is. Honestly, it is. Like, I would pick that probably up there and potentially the best one. Becky Lynch is doing an amazing job. Fantastic promos. She saved us from having to watch Brie Bella wrestle last night.
Brie mode.
And she's the only face left in the company on the main roster as a woman.
Yeah, because Natty's nowhere. Where are you, Natty? Do you even work here anymore?
Actually, that's another injury. Natty just got back from an injury. Apparently, she had been injured since about November. Hideo Itami also is injured in NXT. Sami Zayn just got back from injury. It's a wild time. We need to protect people. Now, we need to put Roman Reigns in pillow fights. We need to wrap him up. We need to not let Brock Lesnar in the building.
Lesnar anywhere near the building.
You need to keep Lesnar away. Wrap Kevin Owens up in bubble wrap. Do whatever the heck you got to do to protect these guys because there's something going on.
Because if Ambrose, Owens, or Reigns goes down, like Ziggler's time probably. Then.
Like, they're getting to the point where they might have to start relying on Dolph, as Vince called him, Dolph Ziggler, on Monday nights.
Ziggler with real trees outdoors.
He said, Dolph Ziggler could win the Royal Rumble. It was what Vince's biggest troll of his life. Saying that Ziggler had a chance to win the Royal Rumble. And I freaked out.
Same man behind the Bret Hart.
Right.
One black coffee. Same guy.
But later in the night, he did pronounce Kevin Owens' name right. So Vince knows Owens' name. That's
who he is.
That's something good. But yeah, man, I think it's good and bad. Obviously, we want these people to be not injured. We want them to be on the show because most of these people, anyone who's not named Nikki Bella is going to contribute to the show in a positive manner. And so we obviously miss these people, but I think it's another great opportunity to people to make the most of their minutes. Like I said with Becky Lynch has been doing, Ambrose and Owens has been doing that as well. But they've been doing that forever.
And I feel like just because of these injuries, we have the positive, and we use the power of positivity.
The power of positivity, folks.
To create the social outcasts.
Boom.
And that's the only reason they're getting time is because of all these injuries. And they realize they can't send New Day out there for a solid hour and 3 appearances in one show.
Now here's another thing that I noticed from Raw last night. A lot of people were saying that New Day has officially jumped the shark. And so if you're not hip with the lingo, it's a phrase that means they began their downhill descension, I guess, not ascension.
They're on the other side.
They're on the downhill side. They're saying that the New Day's best days are behind them.
Probably.
I don't agree with that.
They've been at it for a while.
They have been at it for a while, but I feel like, in days of past, in the days of yore, wherever the hell yore was, we had tag teams that stuck together for years. Edge and Christian were together for years. The Hardys were together for years. The Dudleys had really never been separated because TN, whatever you said earlier, isn't a thing. And so I think the New Day could go on for a while. Will they be like the top, really the top most entertaining stars on the show every week? No, they're not. But I think it's a bit premature to say that they've began to be complete crap already.
Well, possibly.
That said, Jericho was kind of complete crap last night, so I'm going to put a lot of that on Jericho. But that's...
Those other teams didn't really have what New Day did with all the mic time.
Yeah.
And this and that. Like, I think that's where they went down because they have so much mic time.
Yeah.
So much solo TV time.
I think they might be overexposed a little bit. But as you guys know, we're huge New Day fans, so I'm not jumping off the New Day train until I crash into a cavern or river, scene out of the old Western shows with trains and stuff. This metaphor is falling apart quickly. Save me now.
I believe the moment we see New Day go downhill for sure is the moment we get a fourth member. May it be a woman, maybe it's Bo Dallas, fingers crossed. I don't know, but I think in the future, and I really do, they'll get a fourth member, and that's the moment we will all know it's officially going downhill.
Yeah, because obviously when teams get too big for their britches is when they tend to fall apart. Looking at you, NWO.
And Vince will probably say, you know what, these guys are great. Get another guy out there.
Get him in there. Yeah. So, yeah, injury, I think it's good and bad. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here. I think everybody's going to have to step up. SmackDown might actually become a viable show. How the hell do you say this guy's name? Mauro Ranallo.
The announcer.
The announcer. If you didn't watch SmackDown last week, you should. I feel like this guy is... Here's the thing. I don't know if he's that good or the fact that we're so used to having terrible commentators.
He's really, really good.
That listening to him is just like listening to God talk to you about wrestling. It was just so enjoyable, man. I was surprised watching SmackDown last week. The man was actually calling moves and calling them by the right name, and it was just a joy to watch you. And I honestly think he's gonna make some people watch SmackDown just off of his name and his voice alone.
He's almost as good as Booker T.
Let's not go there. But anyways, yeah, a lot of injuries, and so I think it's almost that time. We need to move on to the Royal Rumble.
We've been on injuries for a while now.
We have been on injuries for a while. I think it's time to move on to the Royal Rumble. We're not going to really do our picks on who's going to win it and what's going to happen. We'll do that as we get closer. It's getting really close. It's 2 weeks away. And so we're getting there pretty quick. But we're just going to go through who we think might be some surprise entrants because those are always fun. Just kind of the overall thoughts of the title being defended for the first time ever. The title's being defended. So, because we talked about, I believe it was on our last show, that this year's Rumble, we didn't know what was going to happen. And unlike years past, it was a surprise. We weren't really sure who was going to win it, what was going to happen. And that was before they announced it was going to be for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then I feel like a lot of people separated, like the Red Sea, where these people said, oh, well, it's complete crap now. Like, we know what's going to happen. And other people were like, oh, well, even more so now, we're not sure what's going to happen. And I think I follow in this camp because, I don't know, I just like reaching this way. It's not my dominant hand.
Power move.
Yeah. And, but yeah, I think it could go a bunch of different ways. I think we've obviously seen some top contenders for who's going to win the match. Roman Reigns, obviously, probably going to have a good chance to, he's going to have, in the betting odds at Vegas, if you're into that sort of thing, he's probably a decent person to win, as is Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
And if you're Vince, Dolph Ziggler, potentially. But, yeah, I think it should be interesting. When it comes to surprise entrants, I don't know. It just depends on who they put in there. As we've said with the injury thing, there's a lot of people injured right now. And so there's a lot of potential, I think, for surprise entrants. Um, Honestly, for me, the easy ones that they seem to do every couple years are the announcers. So Lawler, Booker, JBL, God forbid Michael Cole. I don't think Cole's ever going to get in the ring again. I hope, but those seem like pretty easy choices for me. I noted on Twitter I would love to see Christian as a surprise entrant. We haven't seen Christian in a long time. I've been told that he's not cleared to wrestle, but I could be wrong here. But I was under the impression that he had been cleared, and this was honestly like a couple years ago because we haven't seen him in a long time in the ring. But they just had nothing for him, and that's why he hadn't been back. But I think it'd be great to see Christian come out. I'm a peep. I think you're a peep as well for the CLB as he was
Captain
once.
of Charisma.
No, it was creepy little bastard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
That's
Captain
CC.
Charisma.
Yeah, Captain Charisma. Love that guy. Or if that one show that you kind of mentioned, Christian Cage. I remember that being a thing for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know. Surprise entrances, that's what makes the Rumble fun to me. That's why I like watching. You never know what's going to happen, even though you know exactly what's going to happen.
If you watch a Rumble on the network, put it on mute. It makes it really fun. You have no idea what's coming out from the crowd's reaction. It could be anybody. There was a huge pop for Booker T. We had no idea who it was.
Yeah, like look, we're just kind of shooting the bull now. We were just we were sitting here earlier and we were like, all right, we're going to record an episode of Locker Talk because that's what we do, and we were going to have the Royal Rumble playing in the background so we could watch it when the other person was talking. And so we just kind of ended up sitting here for an hour and we watched the 2011 40-man Royal Rumble. And it was a lot of fun. We were sitting there watching and commenting on everything that was happening. And when they showed a shot of the announce table, and I'm like, oh, thank God. So it was Lawler, Cole, and Matt Stryker in the announce booth. So I'm really glad we didn't listen to that and we didn't turn the sound on. And so if you want something fun to do that. Just add your own announcement.
Add your own commentary.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think it'd be fun to do for an episode.
I think so too. I think people would like it.
If we could figure out a way to get the match on the screen while we're talking.
Yeah.
I don't know how we do that. We're not that smart when it comes to technology and editing and stuff. So if you know how to do that, let us know at WWE Locker Talk on Twitter.
Or send us an email.
Don't send us an email. We don't ever check it. If you have sent us an email at some point, I'm sorry. We said we would check it for like the first 3 episodes, and that was a lie. We did not ever check it. And so, yeah.
Surprise entrance.
Surprise entrance. What do you got? We're getting really off track in the show here.
I'm going to go with the Boogeyman.
Always.
I had a good one.
Did you? Brooklyn Brawler?
No. And then we got into the silent Royal Rumble.
Well, here's the thing. I just thought about it. They're in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be some NXT people on there. I hope it's not Balor because I honestly don't think it's ready. I think it's going to be somebody. It needs to be a one and done thing. Like I don't think
Enzo Amore.
I want them both. Once again, we've discussed this many times, but I don't feel like a tag team is a good
Freebird Rule Rumble. You got eliminated? No, it's Enzo Amore now. And then.
Well, I'm pretty sure New Day's already declared that they have now the New Day rule in the Rumble. So any New Day member wins and they win it all. But yeah, I think they're in Orlando. Somebody from NXT has got to, but I don't think they should. I don't think that should be their call up unless it's Sami Zayn. Make it happen. I think it just needs to. I think it needs to be a one and done thing. Like a Baron Corbin. Samoa Joe would be a lot of fun to see.
Samoa Joe would be good in there.
Samoa Joe would be fun.
Yeah, I really had.
Ty Dillinger, because why not? He's a perfect 10. He could come in and enter at number 10, do the 10 thing. Nobody would know what to do it because these aren't NXT fans, they're WWE fans. But yeah, I'm losing you. You don't know who the hell Ty Dillinger is.
You know who could come in?
Yeah.
That one woman in NXT.
Nia Jax.
Yeah, Nia Jax. I forgot her name.
That's okay. She's kind of forgettable.
Women of her size and proportion usually do enter the Royal Rumble. And at least get one elimination.
Yeah, and Beth Phoenix eliminated Great Khali that one year.
I know Karma once eliminated Michael Cole. But then got eliminated
by Dolph Ziggler.
The
ladies' man Dolph Ziggler. Oh, what a man. I feel like we're kind of falling off the rails here. But
I think Matt Hardy could be a cool entry.
Isn't he under contract somewhere else?
His contract, I think, gives up soon. very, very soon.
I think he should start giving up.
I know people want to see the Hardys back in WWE.
You have to wait a while, folks.
I would love to see Matt Hardy back in there.
I don't feel like people are going to pop for him like they would for Jeff Hardy.
People would pop for Matt Hardy for sure.
It would be like half of what Jeff Hardy would get.
Well, if the Hardy Boys returned together, the roof would be blown
That would be
off.
great.
Like, imagine what the Dudleys got and times that by about 3. Because, not that the Dudleys are more popular or less popular, it's that the Hardys theme song gets people riled up.
Because honestly, when the Dudleys came out, at first I wasn't sure what song that was. Until it showed the Dudleys name on there. I wasn't sure what song it was. I didn't remember hearing it. It was a little bit different from when they were.
The Hardys were that entrance is so iconic.
It was a great entrance. I was so upset when they did away with that. When Jeff Hardy did his solo thing and he changed up his entrance to his own band.
His own band is his own singing.
Boy, that'd be like Jericho singing his own entrance, and we all have issues with that.
Jericho's obviously gonna be in the Rumble.
He's announced himself, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, he might be one of the top guys to win it.
That's
there's nobody in there.
I think The Rock's gonna come back.
Do you?
Because he said he's going to be in WrestleMania. He deems it fitting for him. I feel like he's going to get eliminated by someone, maybe Owens or something, which is going to start a feud, and they're going to start a slow burn. He's going to be on maybe one Raw before Fastlane. He'll probably appear at Fastlane.
You sure you're not talking about Brock Lesnar right now?
1 or 2 Raws before WrestleMania, and then they're going to have that match. I feel that's going to happen.
I don't know. I think he might honestly be too busy, like even for that. Like they were speculating that he would be too busy to even show up for WrestleMania.
I think he needs to grow up and clear a schedule.
I think they gave him a big fat check. Like a
check
check so big that when this check gets on airplanes, it has to buy an extra seat.
And
fat check.
We don't need him.
We don't.
That's the thing. We don't need Lesnar.
No, we don't need him. But yeah, I think we're just kind of drawing on and talking nonsense.
Yeah, we should probably move on.
For the past 42 minutes.
We got about 18 minutes left.
Well, I don't think we have much show left, to be honest.
Well, we don't.
Yeah, that's it. That's all she wrote.
Oh,
Actually, we have some announcements. They're pretty good. It's a new year. We've got some new stuff coming your way. So I think you guys should look forward to that. Matt, what is that stuff? What should they look forward to?
Well,
other than our beautiful sunglassed faces and unicorn horns.
We have some great shows coming for you. The next show we do, we already have plans. We are going to be hashing it out. Who should the face of the company be? Should it be Roman Reigns? Should it be Dean Ambrose? Or should it be Seth Rollins? So we're going to be hashing that out. I'm not going to tell you who we're going to represent.
We've been planning this for months. We have stacks of notes this big.
We do. We have references from matches. We have all this stuff. And then we're going to go over some amazing jaw-dropping moments from all the famous ladder matches that you may have forgotten about.
We haven't.
We're not going to be talking about the TLCs, the Hardys. We're not going to be talking about any of that stuff. It's going to be a great match, or a great locker talk. And it might be the best locker talk ever, to be honest with you.
Last week's was pretty good.
I think it's going to blow it out of the water.
But it should be a great show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be impactful. You know what we haven't done in a long time? We haven't done a hashtag of the week.
We haven't.
In quite a long time. And so, just for the sake of everyone, as we sign off on this, our 37th episode of Locker Talk, once again, we want to thank you all for joining us, following along, for tweeting along. Make sure you follow us on Twitter.
Send us gifts.
That too. Or just follow us at WWE Locker Talk. Maybe hit that subscribe button, the like button, leave a comment. All that stereotypical crap that every YouTube show ever says. Do all that stuff. Send us a gift if you'd like. Send it to Matt's P.O. Box. It'll be great.
Inbox me. I'll give you my address.
Yeah, it'll be great. And so we're going to end this show with our hashtag of the week. And so I think this is something that we all need. So, hashtag power of positivity.
This one's for you, Andy. New Day Rocks.